You can't even say Happy Christmas anymore. You have to say season's greetings because you're scared you're going to offend someone because they're not Christian.
There it is. De verdad. I'm telling you, it's crazy.
But they're paying online.
Yeah, the thing is, technological innovation has ruined us all, Mr. After 40. Guys, man, what's going on? Somber the Pizza back with another Somber React episode. Let's do it, man. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's get into it, man. I was about to drop my chair. You know what's crazy? So this guy that I'm about to not interview, but this guy that whose video I'm about to react to, let's just reel it all in because I get too hype. Man, why do I get so excited? I gotta chill out. Anyway, the guy that whose video I'm about to react to, he's actually from England, and coincidentally, I have my Hard Rock Cafe London shirt, which was from when I was last in London, 2022. I have a long history with England, the country. So it's deep. I love my England. I have my Fred Perry stuff in there. I got my Fred Perry jacket inside my closet. Yeah, I sleep in a Fred Perry sweatpants. It's so real. I'm gonna show you how real my adoration for London is. Not kidding. Londoners, you guys know. Anyway, and I got some Lyle and Scott stuff. Anyway, let's get into it. First of all, this is another Somber React episode. I'm reacting to this guy's video. This guy's name Life After 40, and this is his most viral video called "Great Britain Isn't Great Anymore." Dead serious. I have a lot of opinions about England. Dead serious. So serious. I'm sure he's gonna break it down because he obviously resides in the country of England. Probably lives in London City as well. Anyway, I was gonna react to this video about 2 weeks ago when he actually dropped it, but I just got sort of sidetracked with things in life, and I just didn't get around to it. And I wanted to talk about other things as well, so I decided to come back to it and just react to it. And it has like 15,000 views? That's not possible. I think this is a lie. He probably re-uploaded it. Nah, he re-uploaded it because from what I remember, he had like close to 1 million views on this video. I don't know. He probably re-uploaded it or something. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. We got the Patreon going. If you guys want to join, that's great. If you don't, that's good too. The link is going to be in the description below if you're interested. So without further ado, let's get into it, man.
Has anyone noticed the constant videos on YouTube about people going abroad and just leaving? I've said it before and I'll say it again. Great Britain isn't great anymore. I remember the times when it was great, when it was fun, when you go out, it didn't cost you your month's rent to buy a drink. You'd go out, you'd have fun.
Okay, I gotta get into it immediately because I was just bubbling. I can't control myself. England and I have a very, very powerful relationship. For the guys that are new to the channel, I'm gonna let you guys know what's going on. I started traveling to England after, just to stay with my dad around 2005. Every year I was going to England for a month. Then I went to go live in England at 2007 for a year and change. I learned so much about England. During that time, drum and bass was knocking. We had DJ Fabio, right? We had Groove Rider. We had Shy FX. We had LTJ Bukum. All of these fire, what was it? Pesce, Chemistry and Storm. I think they were still around then. Goldie. All of the drum and bass heads were all on full cylinders. All of their music firing on full cylinders, man. They were going hard. I wasn't really I got into drum and bass back then. Not as much as I'm into it now. But that scene was out and making some noise. There was grime. Around that time, Gigs was coming up. It was Rest 32, Professor Green. We had Chipmunk before he became Chip. It was just a different culture, I'm telling you. Cable, Fabric was around, the nightclubs. England was deep. I used to stay, not in London. I used to stay in Stevenage, which was a bit up north. But just to reel it back in, England is definitely not fun anymore, for sure. I remember when I was there last, 2022, I was there for like a week. And I went to go see my good friend. He works in Selfridges around central London, if you guys know, you know. And he took me to some party in Brixton. It was cool and everything. But what I noticed about Brixton was it changed it shuffled my mind a lot. I was like looking around. I was like, no mames, bro. Once upon a time, Brixton you did not want to go there. South London, anywhere past Elephant Castle, which is like, a stop on the tube in the direction of South London, you did not want to go there. Dead serious. It's like Catford cooked. Peckham, which is what Giggs was representing and probably is still representing, even though it's completely gentrified, cooked. Deptford cooked. I'm telling you, these places were definitely very, very dangerous. And I'm guessing he's going to talk about gentrification. I'm not sure, but yeah, for sure, I'm telling you, London is not fun anymore. And the pound, for the guys that don't know, the U.S. United States residents, $1.25 or $1.26 is equal to the pound, and everything in London or London especially, because London City, because it's expensive. It's not priced proportionally. So you would think that, okay, maybe a bottle of water in London would cost 75 pence, but it's not. It's actually £2. So you're just losing, and it's probably like 750 milliliters, where over here you'd pay $1 for. It's kind of nuts. Let's see what else he got to say.
And people be enjoying themselves.
Right.
People have parties, house parties. And then
I remember that. I'm sorry I got to interrupt, man. This is back when I was a little bit more degenerate. I was drinking, I was sleeping around. Like, I'm telling you, it was different. Plumstead was the spot. Deptford, the spot. King's Cross. Camden, Cocoa. Guys, if you know, man, let me know, man. I'm telling you. Cable in King's Cross. No mames. I'm telling you. London was, once upon a time, was the place to be. De verdad. I'm telling you. Things have definitely changed now. Definitely changed now.
Nice and fun. I remember people said hi to each other in the streets. My godfather, who's passed away, used to live in Notting Hill Carnival. And what he used to do on Carnival Day, he's living in Portobello Road, he used to have his doors open. He used to cook food. And what did he do? Put out a spread. And people would just come through. People didn't know. And then invite them in. And they'd come and just have some of the food. And they'd talk to them. And he loved it. He loved it. He wouldn't charge for them. He wouldn't charge anything. He just had the food there. And they'd be having it. It'd be a special day. Can you imagine that now? You do that now, people probably raid your house, probably steal something. Or if anyone's making food, they sell a chicken wing for like £7.
A chicken wing for £7. And like I said, guys, you do the equivalents, right? So what is that? That's close to $14, right? Close to $14 if you're trying to convert it to the US dollar. But I'm telling you, everything he's saying is correct thus far. Once upon a time, London was just a different type of city. England was just, I'm very familiar with London because that's where I resided the most every time. I stayed in Stevenage, which is in Hertfordshire, which is 30 minutes up north via the overground. I used to take it from King's Cross to Stevenage. It was just a different time. Like back in the day, like I'm talking about, at least for me, what I experienced directly with London, early 2000s. People were very, very cool outside. I was a little wilder then. I used to get drunk, go to these random places like bars and whatnot, restaurants, and just try to just converse with people. And I used to strike up the conversations with the most eloquent, the most literary focused, passionate people that I've ever met. Most fashionable, I'm telling you. They were blokes. They're not just dark skinned, they're light skinned, they're from India, they're from the Middle East, all living in London, that all knew so much about so many things. I learned so much from London. Nowadays, when I was back there in 2022, it's just the energy was very, very different. I felt that a lot of people weren't really talkative at all. People were very skeptical about, especially when I would come on the bus. I was excited to have my GoPro. I was like, yo, guys, I'm in London again. Oh my God, it's been like 5 years. London Bridge, the train station got constructed. They constructed the Elizabeth line, which is the purple line. I was so excited. I forget where I was going. I think I was going to Earl's Court Road to just hit up my Airbnb just to put my stuff down. Then some kid on the train, he was on the tube, he was like, hey man, this is what I appreciate about Americans, because you guys are always so upbeat and nice and everything. And then I gave him the lowdown of what New York is like. And how because it's got taken over by gentrification, a lot of the lifeblood, the energy of the originals has disappeared. It practically doesn't really exist anymore, only in like certain pockets of the culture of the city. But he's like, at least the Americans that, come here, they're very, very nice. Here, London is dead. People don't like to talk to one another. People are just very mean. They're very catty. All that kind of stuff. And, I agree with them. London has changed a lot. Dead serious. From what I remember when I was living here, living in London. Yeah, for sure. I can only imagine how it is in Wales, in Southern Ireland, Scotland. I can only imagine. There's a lot of other places in England, of course. There's like Brighton, which is a bit down south. There's like Essex. There's Leeds. Luton is a crap hole. Birmingham is another crap hole. But yeah, I can only imagine like they all sort of taken the same direction when it comes to Britain losing its lifeblood. Just because I have a lot of things. Let's just hear what he has to say. I'm sorry.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like that anymore.
Right.
I remember when my mum would let me play in the park with the other kids. There'd be no parents needed there. We all just kids be playing. And then, she'd either come down or shout if we're just outside the house. Like, come in, dinner's ready. And you come in. Can you imagine that now? Do you even see kids playing like that anymore? If they're playing football, it's on their apps or the games. Or they're playing online.
Yeah, the thing is, technological innovation has ruined us all, Mr. After 40. Technological innovations has destroyed tradition, at least in the West, right? We have Xboxes now. No more of that little paddle with the string attached to the ball playing outside until mom and dad comes home and then dinner gets cooked, right? There's no more of that playing bat or stickball, whatever they called the wiffle ball back then, right? Or football outside, waiting until your parents come home or whatnot. All of that stuff had long disappeared and was replaced with Xbox Series S, PS5, Nintendo Switch. I think they're coming out with a second one soon. It made us way more connected than ever because things like this could happen, right? Where reaction content, live streaming, so on and so forth. But in terms of true connection, that whole bedrock of how people used to communicate has eroded completely. So serious. And also I know in England there's a huge, like with many other places in the West, Paris is going through it as well. We had a problem as well, but Roosevelt Hotel over here in New York, in like Midtown Manhattan, is about to be cleared out completely by June. The influx of migrants. Ever since that started to happen, when England was part of the EU, Angela Merkel, she was the Chancellor of Germany, and she was really strong-arming the EU to mandate all of the countries in the EU to accept migrants, and then they finally accepted, I forgot who was EU Commission President at the time, I think it was Donald Tusk or Jean-Claude Juncker or something like that. Due to the influx of migrants from countries that are seldom checked, not given any background check, so a lot of these guys can be criminals, a lot of these guys could have shady backgrounds and dealings. They came into the country, crime rate shot up, a lot of, that changed just the way people also interacted with each other, because there's this trepidation that a lot of parents have with their kids, going over to this person's house or staying outside for too long because of that looming safety risk. 100%. It's the same thing here in New York. We had a situation earlier this year when a woman was put on fire by one of the migrants. I know that's definitely stoking the flame, so to speak. I didn't mean to include that pun, of the whole migrant issue and this sort of complete aversion and hate towards migrants. But I'm telling you, when you bring in or you mandate for a whole bunch of undocumented people to come in, you're not doing any background searches on them or checks, and you just have them integrate with society, that everyone has their own certain way, of falling into line within the various respective cultures and societies. There's always going to be a mismatch. And England has been going through that for the last decade and change, even probably a little longer than that. So that definitely lends to this complete change, in addition to technological innovation.
Things aren't like how they used to be anymore. And, I've seen in other comments where I'm talking about things and saying, you just hate where you are and all this kind of stuff. It's not like I hate it. it's just not the same. I'm just not in love with what the UK used to be, with what Great Britain used to represent. You know, you think about Christmas cards. You used to have Christmas cards like, you know, you have, and it'd be like, you know, Happy Christmas, all this kind of stuff. You can't even say Happy Christmas anymore. You have to say season's greetings because you're scared you're going to offend someone because they're not Christian.
There it is. David, that I'm telling. It's crazy. It's crazy. The cancel culture definitely snuck in post 2000, the 2000 early 2000s, and of course you have to be completely inclusive in the way you word things, the way you speak to people, lest you offend them. And the offensive part is not even the big issue, because if that were just the only penalty, people would just be letting people know what they thought. But your job is at risk. Of course, if you identify this issue now online, when you are an English citizen or you're from England, you are going to risk being fined or jailed due to their British Parliament's crackdown on memes, offensive memes that are distributed in their country. England has changed completely. I'm telling you. I remember once the drum and bass scene in England was OD. I'm just saying that right now. It's inspired me so much. I still listen to the old DJ Fabio and Groove Rider radio mixes to this day from the 90s and early 2000s. So serious. England was such an inspiration. I learned about the Bronte sisters. I learned about Sherlock Holmes, you know, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I learned about a whole bunch of music style, Fred Perry, Lyland Scott, Bape, which was Japanese, really made Japanese. What was his name? Nigo or something like that. But I learned so much about myself when I lived in England. England was Colombia inspired me a lot. De verdad, you know, I learned the Spanish language. But before that, England had its claws in my mind. England was such an inspiration to me, seriously. And the old rock from the 60s. England has changed completely. You can't offend anybody. You got to be careful. You got to tiptoe. I'm telling you, it's crazy. You would think that post-Brexit, the people would be closer to some sort of society where, you know, it's not very sensitive. People actually talk to one another, and their pound would go far. And since the results of the referendum, you know, which happened a couple years back, things have went completely, as the British would say, tits up in the blasted country. It's absolutely outrageous.
What?
Dead serious, offending someone.
People in market are saying, oh, we'll say Happy Easter, but who will we offend people that don't celebrate Easter and all this kind of stuff? What has happened to the UK? You used to go to your corner shop and the fruits and vegetables there used to be decent. Now they're manky and dirty, and look at them, they're just...
That's due to Brexit and these guys trying to... I guess they were trying to push the whole, oh, Brexit was the worst thing you could do. Only xenophobes voted Brexit because they didn't like the integration of the migrants. When in reality, people understood, right? Okay, maybe Nigel Farage pushed the whole thing a little bit too much. But at the end of the day, it's people with a completely different lifestyle that are completely unchecked, backgrounds and everything, getting forced to mesh with people that have and follow society. There's always going to be a mismatch. And due to this whole Brexit thing, they lost access to the single market, and so they have to resource where they're getting, you know, they're importing a lot of their goods and their fruits and whatnot, their foods. And so obviously the quality is going to be lacking there, for sure. Tesco was always expensive. Sainsbury's, I don't even go there. Marks and Spencer, I just go through and stroll, right? We're not going to the goddamn grocery aisle because it's expensive as hell. I know that they have Aldi's though and Lidl's. So, you know, I don't know about the quality of food within those supermarket retailers, but I'm sure you'll find some quality stuff there for a discount. So
they're just crap. They're just bad quality because people just don't care anymore. They're happy to sell you trash. You've got just this atmosphere of people being rude to each other, and there's these girls that are just playing music. I was on the tube and they're just blasting out music, like bashment music and vulgar bashment music, not classy, not reggae and soul music, just bashment, dance, you know, ghetto, all these kind of vulgar words and stuff, and they're just dancing, twerking on the floor, and just don't care. Loud, they're playing it loud. They don't care. And what someone says out to them, they're being shut up and all this kind of stuff. And what's happened to Great Britain?
I swear, it was crazier back then, but like, at least it was a manageable crazy. I understand exactly where he's coming from. I remember coming back at the end, after a certain hour, for the people that don't know about the UK or London specifically, the tubes don't run. So you have to take the bus, and the buses come like every 30 minutes. There were the bendy buses. I remember those. Back then, like late at night, you'll just have people shouting on the bus, you know, if anything, just being jovial. People would chat to each other, showing each other music, getting to know each other, trading phone numbers. I remember it all. I remember after I had a little what was it? It was like a New Year's little thing at Southgate or South Bridge, whatever you call it. It's right across from the River Thames when you're in central London, I think around Trafalgar Square. I was going to my friend's place because he lived in Catford, which is crazy. And we were going to Morley's first to get some chicken and chips. And it just that trip took like 2 hours and change because we were just like stopping around, talking to people. People were chatting with us, taking pictures and whatnot. It was a wonderful, wonderful time. I definitely feel where he's coming from because that stuff happens here in New York. It's just there's just no decorum, no good behaviors. People are just crazy and inconsiderate about their fellow person. Absolutely. And there's just no, the only time you hear words exchange is when it's in a spate, right? It's just like it's people attacking one another and then fights break out, weapons are drawn, everything. It's crazy in this place. And UK follows suit as well. I feel completely horrible for you guys.
Make Great Britain great again. I can't be the only one. Well, I'm not the only one because I see more people thinking the same thing, saying the same things. And they're leaving. People are picking up and going. People are selling property. I'm seeing people selling their goods, their possessions, their property, and leaving. People have had enough. It's not the same as it used to be. What do you think, man? Let's start a conversation. Let me know if you agree.
Things have changed completely in England. I just felt it in 2022, and I just listen. I've clocked out. England, it's just completely different. Just the people. I remember I was speaking to this girl when I went to the Brixton party, and the way she was just so socially awkward. She could not like finish her sentences. She could not complete her ideas. It was kind of nuts. Then I had another situation where I think I went out with this girl from, I think she was Italian, Jamaican, and she was rolling up her cigarette. We were in Canary Wharf, and because I just haven't been there in a really long time. You know, obviously before that, I haven't been in England in 5 years, as I was describing earlier. And one of the employees spoke to her about it, saying, "Oh, listen, we don't smoke weed here," and she went off the rails, talking like it was like a racist attack and everything. And I'm like, when did England get so sensitive? When did this country get so sensitive? It was nuts. I'm telling the England. I remember back in the day. I wasn't there in the 90s because I know in the late 90s it was probably even wilder in a good way. Beautiful. I could only imagine because the early 2000s for me it was great. I had parties in Plumstead. I was going down to South London. I did what was it? We did Croydon. This is when Shoreditch was on the up and coming. It was still expensive as hell in Shoreditch, but it was still on the up and coming. I had some parties there. I met some people there. It was fire. Shoreditch was London in general was amazing. I think this guy has his finger on the pulse, and he's just speaking in place of everyone else that feels the same way in all of these metropolises. When the lifeblood changes, gentrification. I know England gets a huge wave of people, or had a huge wave when they were in the EU, from people from Poland, France, all over the Eurozone. And so these different behaviors change the lifeblood of the place. And a lot of the things are expensive now. Inflation not just hit the United States, it hit Europe as well, namely Britain, who has fallen out of the EU. And because Ursula wants to make a freaking example of England, right, to all the other countries that dare think that they could leave the European Union, they made it incredibly difficult for England to be part of the single market, just basically plastering it as just some sort of embarrassment, crucifying England almost. I know Keir Starmer, I think a month ago or 2 months ago or something, started negotiations with the EU or to try to salvage something, but you know, I don't know if that's going anywhere. Anyway, that's his take. I thought it was a very, very interesting take because I have a lot of history with England, and it just sucks to see a wonderful country, a wonderful city like London just go down in the dumps because of mismanagement and just the lifeblood changing, you know, through government statutes and everything and edicts. Horrible. Let's see. All done by design to create a division. They want us to be individuals when we need to stand together. Same thing like in the United States, especially here in New York. I'm telling you, the lifeblood here changed completely. I still have hope with us because there's still like some original New Yorkers that still know how to keep, you know, hold it down and everything. But for the most part, a lot of the lifeblood changed. We're going through inflation too. New York is not as fun as it used to be. So serious because New York, I have a, you know, that's another story. England, we all love, is gone forever. Dead serious. I had some great times in the 90s and 2000s at house parties, after nightclubs, at homes of strangers. Everyone loved everyone. We're lost at 100%. I remember the days, man. I could talk about Britain, my history with Britain forever. But anyway, I'm going to end it here because I'm going to just talk about this thing forever. You guys enjoy that kind of content? Like, comment, subscribe, share the video. It appears. You guys like this guy's channel, Life After 40. He's a budding channel, I believe. I think this video took him to the heights of the gods in Mount Olympus, because this video, I remember it had like 1 million views when he had like hundreds of subscribers. So give him some love, you know, and everything. Don't let this place get you down. Everything's changing around us. You already know, but you have a choice to change along with it, and you should not. Stay original, stay open, stay expansive. Connect with people, talk with people, chat, share ideas. Do not feel constricted by your own ideology. Do not feel intimidated by what the news is telling you about certain groups and so on and so forth. Do your own research. If you are that skeptical, be positive and stay radiant. I'm going to see you guys in the next Summer Reacts. Woo!